Please give this video a like and subscribe!
All right, we're going live.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is Maintaining Frame. Single women versus single men. Who has it harder in dating? Where we're going to be looking at a video from a channel called Counterpoint. They're like, if you get Jubilee on Temu, I guess. And they're basically trying to do the Jubilee thing, and it's basically the same. And this time they have single men versus single women, and they're all Zoomers, by the way, too. This is an important bit of context. So we're going to be reacting to that because some of the stuff that was said. I mean, just brace yourselves, though. These are young people, and so the way they communicate might be like might just be bad. It's going to be rough. I'm just saying it's going to be rough because of the way they. If you want to play a drinking game, play a drinking game where you take a shot every time they say "I feel like" at the beginning of their sentence. and that's just so you know what you're getting yourself into. Okay. So do you follow that?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So we'll be a little behind the lingo, is what you're saying, or
yeah.
Actually, I feel like
I feel like is very it's not a
therapeutic. It's a therapeutic modality in speech, which honestly,
it is?
I feel
I see what you mean.
it's a confessional, a testimonial in therapy speak, which is really common with this generation. I think women of my generation are less inclined to this stuff than the men of the Gen Zs. That's quite a statement. But yeah, I wonder what is going to be the answer to this in this video. Single women versus single men. Who has it harder in dating? I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm going to guess that they went with women. Or did they not conclude anything?
Well, I don't want to bury the lead, but I will say that there is something interesting towards the end of the video. And another thing is I would save it for later, but there is something interesting towards the end of the video. And also, it is an interesting exercise in basically the way that young men and young women view the world, like the way that they experience it and how they, let's say what they think is important, what it is that they're looking for. Like, it's very different perspectives on that. And I think that you'll be able to like get something out of that yourself. I'm sure that you'll pick it up as well. So yeah, there's that. But so let's get into it. What do you want to tell everybody before?
Very helpful. Okay. If you would like to send a message at any point throughout the show, do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. That's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. The monthly fundraiser isn't open yet, but it will be available at feedthebadger.com/support. And if you want to join us in our community, badgernation.online. It's badgernation.online. It's the best way to get in contact with us, to send us show ideas and what you would like us to respond to, and then take part in the research efforts and the community building efforts and all that kind of stuff. So badgernation.online for our Discord, and feedthebadger.com/justthetip if you want to send us a message. Best way to send us whatever tip you want, and the best way for you to send that message with that tip. Okay. I think we're good. Let's just dive right in.
Okay. We're going to start with the opening. So they bring about 3 different questions, and then they do the thing where, whoever agrees steps forward, and then they have a discussion, and then they bring the rest of them over. So the first question is statement. It's a statement that they agree or disagree with. The first statement is nice guys finish last. I just want to say before we get into these, I don't like the way that these are phrased, because it seems like a little bit of a, I don't know, like a trap. Like the statement nice guys finish last is like this kind of bumper sticker sentiment, but it's not. really getting at anything really true. So it's hard to have a real serious conversation about it, you know? But anyway. All right, let's go ahead and start.
Finish last. We'll start by bringing up everyone that agrees now.
If you don't agree with this, just be wary of what is all over Netflix, propaganda on social media, etc. I mean, there's a reason why majority of the women watch like movies like or shows like The Vampire Diaries, and they're obsessed with the bad guy Damon, and then Damon becomes good, and now they're all back on Stefan because he's the bad guy. I mean, it is literally a term that is known and thrown around society today and has been around for years on years. I mean, perfect example is like, I have a couple guys that they're just extremely good gentlemen, treat their, they court their women, they take care of them, and the woman could just throw it right in their face like, yeah, sorry, you're too nice for me, and then they just leave them. So.
All right. So Allison stepped. Oh yeah, you're there.
Yeah, no,
so
I'm right here. I'm just adjusting.
Yeah.
Because my camera's off center. Speaking of which, you might want to move back a bit if you can, like move yourself.
Like this?
Yeah, like
oh, I see.
Yeah, because you keep drifting, and I think part of it is because you're really close to the camera. So
yeah,
if you can move the camera a little bit further away from you, that might work. Anyway, so yeah, I was just adjusting because my camera was off center. And that was bugging me because I'm autistic. But yes, he's 100% right, and I can tell you exactly why. Our society has constructed a situation where women's social value is increased by rejecting men. Now, I mean, it was always sort of the case that, women rejecting men would feel like they have greater social value. But now it's like you reject the whole concept of a man, not just a man, but a concept of a man. And that's encouraged. And there's this almost well, not almost, there is this strong tendency in our culture to frame men as bad bets, as bad choices for women in their life, not very good partners. They don't pull their weight in housekeeping, whatever else, even though that's patently false. If you include employment, what is that word? I'm losing my words today. If you include, it's the word going from work to home, commute. If you include employment, commute, plus chores, plus childcare, men and women effectively work the same amount of time a week. And so there's no real substance to those complaints, and yet they're ubiquitous. And then there's also the men make poor lovers complaint. So in every context, a man is seen as a poor investment by a woman in her life. And then you have all of the very toxic narrative around the relationship between men and women. Feminists frame it as the source of patriarchal oppression, which is basically the source of original sin in society, is right there in the relationship between men and women. So you construct these generations of women who think that rejecting men is what they should do, and that if they accept a man, they're basically being conned. They're just engaging in being conned. So there's this tremendous kind of urge to get rid of a male partner as soon as you get one. And the only men who really survive that kind of sorting is men who can induce FOMO, that is fear of missing out on women. And the kind of men who can induce FOMO in women are, of course, the ones, well, they might be highly successful or very attractive, but even men who are highly successful and very attractive can fail to induce FOMO in women because they are too reliable. Like they show up and then suddenly the woman's like, I don't know. I'm comfortable. Therefore, I don't have that feeling, that anxiety. Therefore, I'm no longer attracted. There's the other thing. There's this strong impulse in women's sexual fiction to associate adrenaline, cortisol responses, fear responses with arousal. Go read the dark romance and you'll see it. So it's this situation where the men who are attractive to women are the ones who are withholding. So you get this, the most attractive stimulant is something that is inconsistent. So if you give a rat a lever, and every time the rat pushes the lever, it gets a pellet, it won't, that's not as, like, it doesn't get as a compulsive behavior towards that as if you actually make it intermittent. So that maybe every third time a rat gets a pellet, maybe every 20th time, and you change that around, and the rat will be sitting there hitting the lever forever, even when there's no pellet coming at all. It takes a long time for them to learn not to continue to do what they think gets their reward, even after the reward ceases. And it's the same principle with men. A man who is withholding, a man who is unreliable and intermittent with his affection, is going to induce FOMO in women. And that's basically the profile of a narcissist or a sociopath. So when this guy says nice guys finish last, he is 100% accurate in this framework, in this relationship situation that we have in our society, in this social situation. He's right, because it's the men who are not nice, who can create, are willing to create. They don't have any interest in creating a sense of comfort or safety or reliability in women. That's not what they're there for. Those men win, because those men are able to make the FOMO that directly balances or neutralizes the woman's desire to eject. Because he's always presenting the idea that he's always the one who's going to leave first, so she has to cling to him. She never gets into the headspace where she's comfortable enough to start thinking about how it might be, she's not good enough, she's not attracted enough. She's always in that cortisol drenched fear state, and that keeps her coming back. And it's all basically hormones in conjunction with how we have structured our attitudes towards men and women and the relationship between them. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, my cat is distracting the hell out of me.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So I guess we can play more of this. Let's get all of their reactions to this prompt.
I feel like he kind of just said all of it, to be real. I mean, I feel like in a couple times in my experience that's happened where I've been nice to a girl, and then like obviously like she passed me up for some dude who was like just trash, and like you chalk it up to the game. But like I've also had friends who have been in the same situation, so I feel like if it hasn't happened to you, you at least know somebody that it's happened to. So I do think it's a real thing.
I'm assuming the question is nice guys is in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's not even really innate to women, I don't think. It's innate to the circumstances we find ourselves in into the current era. Like get rid of the pervasive narrative that the relationship between men and women is one of oppression of women, that women lose out, that they are being conned out of something precious by, the man. You get rid of that. And I don't think these men who induce fear of missing out on women would be as successful. And they wouldn't be necessarily as attractive. I've got other things that I could talk about. Like I said, I've been going into like an endocrinology tear, like researching it, but of pair bonding and sexual behavior in humans. But yeah, if you wanted to say anything, we can continue.
No, it's okay. I'm going to let the next guy speak.
The guys on social media that whine about, oh, I'm such a good guy, I don't understand why no girl wants me. They do. Some of them. They do finish last, but for good reason. They're usually not the best.
Oh God, this guy's I can just see the scum. I'm sorry. I can smell the male feminist on him. Ugh.
He might be. Yeah. I don't really know this guy, but he is sort of like he's doing this thing where, there are trash men that like finish last, but that's probably because they're not good men, right? Like, or something like that. But yeah.
Okay, then explain the T app. Explain the T app. Explain the fact that all of these women were having sex with the same men and having a red flag.
Explain the "Are we dating the same guy" website.
Yeah. And the red flags appeared to be, instead of red flags for these women, that was like it was almost like positive reviews for these men. and the most important comment was, does he fuck good? Like
Yeah, do he
And
fuck good?
I can actually give
No,
you
it's
a
do
complete
he. Do he fuck good?
really fuck good. Like this, and I could give you a complete endocrinology profile of what is going on there. I won't because we're reacting to this, but this guy is full of absolute crap. Absolute crap. And honestly, he probably isn't. He's probably talking about himself. Yeah, you're not one of the nice guys, sure. But the truth is that the landscape is structured in such a way that men who give off signals of reliability, comfort, and bonding, secure bonding, have a detriment in the society. And it's specifically because feminists say that exactly that is the source of women's oppression. Being chained to a man is the source of women's oppression. What do you think that's going to do to women mentally? It's going to make them want to pew like a rat out of the aqueduct as soon as possible. As soon as they feel the chains, closing around on them, which is just basically a bonded relationship. So again, the only guys who are going to win in that are the men who are constantly keeping her on eggshells, constantly making her feel like she doesn't know where the relationship is, gives her no security, and drips out the affection and the attention, like very miserly, just enough to keep her going. That's the kind of man this whole situation selects for. And this dude, I don't even know why he's there. Do we have to listen to him anymore? Can we just like selectively never listen to him again because he's got nothing to add?
We can jump ahead to the next one.
No,
It's
let him
okay.
finish. Let him finish. I shouldn't be
all right.
mean.
And crying for a reason. Like from what I see, not statistically, from an anecdotal perspective, to kind of build up what you were saying, like the female fantasy is that guy who has that capacity for violence, that tameable monster kind of thing. We hear about that, I'm sure, on social media all the time. But I think those guys, they just haven't, either they are not tameable or they definitely just don't have that capacity for it. You know what I mean? They're those guys that like, yeah, oh, he can never hurt a fly. Well, that's not good because sometimes you have to.
Not bad.
You have to be strong. You have to be tough.
Yeah, I don't think that, but like that's not. I don't think that that's the issue.
Okay, he's not annoying me as much.
Yeah.
Not annoying me as much now. But go ahead, Brian.
Well, why would you say he's not now?
Well, I mean, he is correct, like about what he's saying here. I think he's going all over the place, and what he's saying isn't as coherent. It's like what Jordan Peterson says. You want to be a man who is capable of this but doesn't, right? And that's what he's talking about. Capable.
Yes, he is, but like that's the thing is, okay, I don't know if they get into this, but my problem with that claim is that by that logic, then 80% of men, which is like the majority of men that women are not interested in because they're not exciting enough, because that's ultimately what women are looking for, is something exciting, but also something that makes other women envy them. So there's like that's what they're pursuing. They're not looking for a good man. They're looking for a fun time that's exciting and a little bit dangerous. And the thing is that if I guess what I'm saying is that he's putting the blame on the wrong group of people, because he's saying, well, I know some men who wouldn't hurt a fly. And it's like, well, that's not really a nice guy, right? That's not really, or at least what people typically think of as a nice guy. That is a trait of some men who, maybe they are very passive or whatever, but like I think that's a smaller percentage than the majority, which the majority are the men that women tend to reject. And I think the overwhelming majority of men just want to, they're like kind people, despite feminists trying to convince us that men are inherently violent and dominating and all that, which is weird because when they get the men they want, like when feminists make men the way they want them to, women are bored immediately. And that's why they go after, these so-called bad boys. So that's what I'm saying is that he's talking about what he's talking about. If we followed that logic, that group of men that he's talking about is not not even a fraction of the men women are rejecting. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm. Yeah. 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 Well, and I mean, you don't want to be somebody who, well, first of all, men, like, I'll be really honest, just normal men, unless they are somehow, physically compromised, are pretty substantially stronger than the average woman, right? So there's always that element of danger. And one of the problems that I see is that men who internalize the feminist belief about men, which is that the relationship between men and women is a source of oppression, develop a lot of anxiety about their own strength. So they don't really inhabit their bodies and they don't feel comfortable. And that's, I mean, that, I don't know if that's in any way related to what he's saying, but the acknowledgement that you are capable of violence is inevitable, I think, with men. For a number of reasons. And again, the first part is that they're physically stronger than women, but they're also more risk tolerant, and they also have faster reflexes, and they also have more predatory focus. So, I mean, there is that those elements there. Now, I don't know if he's saying that, a man should be able to control all that, which is fair. Like, I would say that's fair. But actually, why don't we just let him finish? See if he comes to a conclusion.
One, life is hard, and two, if she wants to pick a mate, she's going to want to pick a guy, like a traditional woman's going to want to pick a guy that can defend her and her children that she might have one day. She's not going to pick some guy who's keyboarding up, complaining about, oh, girls don't like me, it's because I'm 5'11". Well, I'm 5'10", and I can still talk to women. It's not that hard. Just because you're not 6 foot,
Oh yeah, no, this is annoying. Okay, Quisling, get the fuck out of there. Like, why are you out there? What is the okay, I'm back on this. Okay, why?
I think he's still I think he's, in a way, he's there competing with men still.
Yeah.
He's still engaging in the rat race. I mean, he's 5'11", so maybe he has a chance. I don't know. Maybe they won't notice.
He's still engaging in the rat race. No, he's 5'10".
Yeah, he's still engaging in the competition, even though this isn't it's not even. I don't even think he's trying to get with any of the women on the panel, but he's still engaging in a kind of like, I don't know, like a display of his fitness, his sexual fitness, or his, because he's kind of dragging men down a little bit, which is kind of shitty, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can make these points without saying that, right? And the other thing is that if you're going to make the point that men should be comfortable with their capacity for violence, well, comfortable, but not like aware of it and aware of when it's appropriate, then don't talk to these dudes on the internet who are saying women don't like nice men. In other words, women don't like men who have done everything they can to feel completely uncomfortable within their bodies because of that capacity for violence. And women don't like that. Don't go to those men and say, "Oh, you're doing something wrong." They're doing exactly what they're told. They're doing exactly what they've been told to do, which is to neutralize their capacity for violence, which functionally means be very uncomfortable with your body, because men are physically stronger. It's just a fact of biology, and they are faster, and they are more coordinated. Let's be frank. And they
have better endurance. Yes.
And they have better endurance, and they have lower threat, or higher threat tolerance, greater risk tolerance. They are less anxious in stressful situations. There's a whole suite of things that make men supposedly more dangerous, and it's not going to go away unless they, I don't know, biologically engineer women to all be like the snoo women in Futurama. But it's there. And what feminists do is they make those men incredibly uncomfortable with that fact. They make them constantly perform safeness. And then when they're constantly performing safeness to women aren't interested in them. And then they're like, well, I'm doing what I've been told to do. What gives? And then this dude is like, you guys just don't know what. And it's like, no, they're doing what they're told. I don't know. There's something about him that just it's just off. I don't know what it is. Like a
He's like kind of pasty and
no,
but
it's
okay.
not. No, it's not. Don't throw around your
He's
melanin
pale,
privilege.
stale, and male. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, but I don't know. There's just something off about this dude. He's the squinty
Yeah.
eye. Oh. But again, he is pointing at the men, and the men are doing what they're told to perform safety, to perform shame. I occupy this body that's dangerous. I am ashamed of it. I'm constantly monitoring myself for any potential harms to others, which is what men do anyway. But I'm doing it even more, like even more constantly. I'm using feminist language. Why aren't women attracted to that? To my ball of neuroses? And he's like, "Your guys are just wrong. Can't you just do the thing? Just do it. I'm not going to tell you how or what steps, but we'll just do the thing. I do it. I'm only 5'10". It's like, okay, they're doing what they're told. Maybe we should address that fact. Maybe we should address what people are telling these men, and maybe say, yeah, that's not really functional. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Is able to still be a gentleman. So yes, do nice guys finish last? The stereotypical kind, yes. Is it good that they finish last? Probably.
Okay.
I would argue too that majority of the time, like, we're not saying that good guys don't always finish last. It's just the simple fact that like that term exists, and a lot of the times, like, what comes to mind for me is like the term simp. Like that's our good guy.
Those are the good guys.
Definition in today's
Nice
society.
guys.
So a lot of the times women look at guys and they're like, I don't want to be like overly pedestalized by this man. I want somebody that's individual and takes care of his needs, and then can also bring me along and then take care of me as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think this guy is more or less like pretty grounded. Like he knows what a simp is, for example, and those are real things,
Mhm.
But I do think that it can like get too liberally used for any man that's just being nice, but or just being polite or whatever, cordial. But
Yeah. And
yeah, no, I mean, go ahead.
yeah, he's got I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. I'm getting squirrely. Finish your thought.
No, I think I said what I wanted to say. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, go
All right,
ahead.
then I shall squirrel. Yeah, I think he's got a reasonable. I mean, everybody should really have something going on for themselves.
And they should have their boundaries too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like you don't want, because like if you don't have boundaries as a man, yeah, women will totally take advantage of that. And I think that if you let them, then they they'll get bored or they'll get disgusted because they think that. And yeah, women are always shit testing men for that, And
I wonder.
it's yeah. Go ahead.
I wonder how much again is that whole impetus that women lose out in relationships, right? And that's the cultural narrative that we have right now, is the shit testing and the. Because if you think that you are always on the losing end of a relationship, there's a strong inclination to play these stupid games so that the other party proves that they're invested or whatever else. But continue.
Yeah, I said what I wanted to say, but let's go through this. Yeah.
And I think that's a great time to hear what the women think. And our women.
Oh, good Lord.
Quickly, I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's time to hear the women.
Oh,
Oh boy, here
I
we
did
go.
want to.
Get our last.
I
Yeah,
did
go
want to
ahead.
talk about simping a bit. No, you know what? I was going to say that there's the problem with blaming men too much for simping is because there's a sort of an endocrine basis for it, and I could get into that, but let's continue.
All right.
Gentlemen's comment, and then
Good versus weak is what I was more referring to. When somebody says like the good guy finishes last, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that the weak men finish last. I think that the people that aren't seen as being able to support her properly or be able to stand in a position, a relationship where she feels protected or comfortable or able to express herself the way that she wants to. And if you're going to sit there and be this good guy, what people think it's like more as
Sir, can I just point something out to you? Everything you've described has been told to young men as the source of the greatest evil in the world. Okay? Young men have been told that this is oppressing women, that this is taking away women's autonomy, that it's disrespecting women. Can we, for a moment, stop focusing on the men who've internalized that message and start focusing on the women who keep pushing it out into the noosphere, right? Because these young men, where are they supposed to get a positive male role model, considering the rate of single motherhood and the lack of teachers to actually explain all of this to them? They're being told what to do, and what they do is wrong, and you're blaming them for doing what they're told. Even though they exist in a society, if they don't do what they're told by feminists, they get punished. They get socially ostracized. They lose jobs, right? They lose friendships. So everything in our society is arranged to deliver the message to young men that exactly what this man has said men should be: protective, make sure she feels safe, make sure you can provide for her. What does that map onto? It maps onto a traditional relationship, which is the source of patriarchal oppression of women. That's what young men hear. So to turn around and then blame them for the fact that they aren't doing that because they're told not to do that and they're punished when they do seems disingenuous in the extreme. Okay. And I know I know he's more grounded, but I'm just
this
just
is
saying.
a different guy.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, this is a different guy. The guy in the black shirt is the one that I said is a little bit more grounded. This guy is the one, he was the one that disagreed with the sentiment that nice guys finish last. So that's where he's coming from.
Okay.
Person who can't, provide their end of the relationship is what I typically see. So, because I know a lot of quote unquote good people that are in that finish line of like what I want, and like in marriages, they have kids, they have families, all these things. They're really great people, but they're not weak in the same sense too. So I guess I more so agree, but it's what is your definition of good guy?
Yeah, it's in the wording. Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, no, but the thing is, the prompt is nice guys finish last, which, that's like a saying, but I mean, you could at least make the case that there's a difference between someone who is nice and someone who is good, because nice is kind of like, people. I think that nice is sort of like shallow, and it's not substantive. It doesn't actually test you. You don't make any sacrifices for people. You just say the right things. You're basically like, going along to get along. You're playing it really safe. And mostly like women are more like when they're sort of performing, their virtues, like when they're virtue signaling and stuff. That's like being nice, but it's not like being good. Like being good is like going into a burning building and like, bringing a baby out or something. I mean, it doesn't be that extreme, but you know what I mean? Like when you're doing good, you don't have as much concern about what other people think about you because you're doing what you think is right in the moment. When you're nice, you're very concerned with what other people think about you. So the sentiment nice guys finish last, if you were gonna talk about that, you can at least talk about it in that framing instead of sort of throwing a bunch of stuff together, right? Like, because now you're basically talking about men who are good men. And yeah, there are good men, and like he said, they won, like they're married and they have a family. It's probably not because they're nice. It's probably because they're good, But being nice is like it's like a cloak that you wear. It's not like real. I mean, you could be both of those things at once, but you can certainly just be nice and not necessarily be good. When the chips are down and when you're like people need you or whatever. So
yeah. But the other thing is, this is again centering the problem on men, right?
Of course.
And the impulse is to constantly recenter the problem on men. I see two men on the male side who are basically on the female side. Isn't that interesting? And so the impulse is to continuously recenter the problem on men. No matter how much difficulty is constructed by our institutions, by our government, by NGOs, by academia, by the educational system. No matter how much problems that these people are creating for men, the problem always rests on men's shoulders. Did we go through the women's part?
They're coming now. They just came and sat down, but they first had the one guy who didn't sit down with the others. Now they're going to go to the women.
Okay, and just whoever would like to start over here.
I think I agree with what you guys said about putting a woman on a pedestal can kind of be a red flag. Past relationships, the nice guys in those, they did put me on a pedestal, and I feel like the lack of ambition for their own personal goals was a red flag. I'm a very ambitious person. I'm very career focused. I'm the youngest manager in my company and district manager. And so to have someone that settles for bare minimum, to me, that's a red flag. I have a lot of goals and dreams, and for someone that just kind of goes along with those but doesn't have their own, I think is a real turnoff for me.
What, do you date a lot of those people?
No idea. But when I hear from women, like I'm a very ambitious person, that's like a red flag for me. Because, I mean,
yeah.
look, if a woman is trying to be successful at something, I don't have a problem with that. But if they're single and they're really ambitious and they're like, chasing that bag, then they may have like even higher expectations from the men. So it's probably a reason why she's single. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, okay. I see some people in the chat. I just want to acknowledge the On Point Heavy has been saying a lot of things. The Last Statue, Brian could teach these lads a lesson or two about growing a mustache. Philip Williams, evening all. Hope you've been doing well. It's been a while since watching live. Currently catching up. Currently on the scum man who was blaming good men. Nice guy. Yeah, well, again, I think he's also kind of throwing shade at just men in general. Like this is like intersexual competition for these men. So, but anyway.
Yeah,
I'm just saying when a woman says I'm very career focused, I'm very ambitious, that's like them saying, I hope I find a man that matches my energy. And that's just not going to happen. Like, because when men, it's funny because when men pursue career and they work really hard, it's because they want to support a family. And so they're actually prepared to give most of what they make away most of the time. I know that there's some people in the chat that are doing it for themselves. When women pursue career, they're doing it for themselves. Like men don't want women's money most of the time. So, but anyway,
I think I can articulate what's bothering me about that man. If he's competing here, he competes perpetually, right? Which means his entire relationship to other men is competition. And that's actually a red flag. Because if his entire relationship to other men is competition, if he's incapable of actually caring about or bonding with other men, he's probably a sociopath. That might be what I'm picking up on. Because if your entire relationship with men is mediated through competition, then your landscape, your emotional landscape is mostly, it's not bonding, right? It's not recognizing the needs of others. It is seeing everything in terms of status jockeying with other men, which probably he's going to bring to his relationships with women too. And it's not going to be about you. He's not going to pair bond like a normal man. It's going to be about what he can extract from you, what he can say about himself in terms of a relationship with you, how your quote unquote, what isn't really a relationship, but how his conquest of you relates to his competition with other men. Like, and this is the thing, like guys who perform that kind of conflict, or not competition, that kind of virtue mediated competition with other men, like they have a particular mentality, and it's you probably should stay. If you're a woman, you should stay away from it. But that's why feminists always seem to end up with the worst men, because they have absolutely no instincts about how men behave. And they think that if a man throws other men under the bus, oh, that's a green flag. No, it's a red flag. It's a huge red flag. It means his vasopressin system isn't working properly. It means it's not bonding to people. It's not bonding to men, which this is, men have friendships. I know I'm using the endocrinology terms, but men have friendships. They bond to other men. That is a demonstration that they are capable of pair bonding, right? And because they're capable of bonding to another human being in a platonic sense. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
and then the relationship with a woman isn't just sexual. It is also platonic bonding. If you want to have a 30-year relationship, you got to have other things going than just sex. So when he's demonstrating a complete lack or complete consideration for other men, he's demonstrating that there's something wrong with his vasopressin bonding system. Like apparently it doesn't activate with non-sexual inputs, which means that any kind of relationship with him is going to be characterized by potentially intense sexual encounters, but absolutely no follow through, no showing up, no care, maybe possessiveness, maybe even violent possessiveness, but no actual bonding and no actual custodialship. And I could get further into this based on endocrinology, but I won't. I will stop there. That guy's bad news. That guy is bad news.
Well articulated.
The other dude is just an idiot. That one's bad news. Okay.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
With those nice guys.
Okay, I feel like there's so many layers to the term nice guys finish last. For example, you'd mentioned like simp. I've actually never heard any woman around me refer to another man as a simp. I also reject the idea of needing like a
well, that's because you probably haven't heard it from women because they benefit from simp behavior. So why would they insult their simps by calling them simps? It's men that do that because what men are trying to do is they're trying to shame or coerce those men out of that behavior. Women will never, well, some women have done it because if you're like, I guess, attractive enough, you can just call men simps and get away with it and they'll still send you money. But, or whatever it is that you want to get. I remember that one chick that said simping is king shit online. And she was like, I don't know, Pokimane maybe. I'm not sure who it was, but it was a pretty girl on the internet that knew she could say that and men would still basically give her money, which only shows that they're, massive simps. But mostly men are the ones that primarily call other men simps as a way of saying, guy, you have to have more self-respect. That's essentially what it's saying. Have some self-respect. Don't just, like what you work for and your worth, your self-worth is more than whatever it is you're throwing it at. Usually like these women that aren't worth their time or money. That's what, so yeah, you can, of course your girlfriends have never said that because why would they drive away their meal ticket by calling them simps? Like that's risky.
Yeah.
So anyway. Yeah.
Also, I'm really reluctant to really listen to somebody who has presented themselves like that.
Yeah, right. Like a burnt Powerpuff Girl. Left him in the oven for too long. A hair hat. All right, but anyway, we should listen to what she has because I think this is one of the more interesting characters here. So, but okay, let's go.
Masculine man that's going to come and save me and be my knight in shining armor.
Okay.
Romance books where there's a strong man, but is that something that I actually want? No, when I genuinely tend to think of like masculine men or like someone who's overtly extremely masculine, I think domestic violence. So I tend to actually like a more.
You see, dude, idiot man. Do you see what she's saying? Everything you said, she's taught to see in terms of feminist patriarchy theory. Right? Masculine man equals domestic violence. What? No. Like what the? And the thing is that she sees it that way because she's associating masculinity, manhood, with the toxic masculinity and the oppression narrative. That's what she's doing. And this guy who is talking about, oh, well, men shouldn't be weak. They should protect. Well, what do you think she's referring to when you say you should protect and provide for your woman? She's literally spouting back at you. But that's patriarchal oppression. And that, I'm guessing that nobody ever engages with the fact that she is demonstrating how men who are weak happen. Men who don't support a woman happen. Like that these other men are upset about. Do you see how this is just talking past each other? Okay.
Yep. Well, but that guy's not going to like get anything out of this because he's just going to listen to whatever she says and agree with her. I think. Let's see. Maybe they'll argue.
And a nicer guy, but like one of the guys here had said earlier, I think a lot of guys say, "Oh, I'm nice. Why don't I have a girlfriend?" If all you have to bring to the table is the fact that you're nice and nothing else outside of that, that's not enough for you to just like.
What are you asking for a person to bring to the table?
Hey, men, what do you bring to the table? You should just. I am the table. I am the table.
But here's the thing. She says, okay, well, nice guys don't bring anything to the table. So what is a man supposed to bring to the table? Can you articulate that? If not, providing and protecting and the things that men do, right? What is a man supposed to bring to the table that isn't just being nice in your framework? Because feminists say that providing and protecting is the source of patriarchal oppression. You just said that. So this causes me physical pain when I see women this stupid and incapable of understanding what they're talking about. Right? Why do we listen to this? If you cannot coherently explain. But you know what? Maybe she does. I suspect she doesn't. I suspect we're going nowhere with this, but I'll shut up. Let her continue.
Okay, let's keep going.
To nice guys, I would hope that my partner would eventually be
Wait, let's go back a little bit. I want to see those guys' faces.
nice and nothing else outside of that. That's not enough for you to just.
This guy's head is down like, oh my God.
Well, he just got trounced. He's like, man should protect and provide for his woman. And she's like, that's patriarchal oppression. It's exactly what I said. It's and dude, you are probably 6'2", right? And he's built. You are occupying a completely different reality than the average man, right? The average, you can probably float a little bit above the feminist bullshit, but the average man ends up in the toxic masculinity trap. Like that he can't actually provide and protect. He can't be a man for a woman because that's oppression. And there's nothing else left. What is this woman? Underwater basket weaving. I want my man to bring underwater basket weaving. I want him to bring an exceptional ability to play the xylophone. Like, what does she want? That's specifically masculine that men can give when you explicitly exclude the things that masculinity gives. Okay.
God, I wonder why you're single.
Like,
yeah,
have a relationship. Like a lot, I've talked to nice guys. I would hope that my partner would eventually be a nice person, but because you are nice, you are somehow below the guys that are like pieces of. I don't believe that. I feel like the women that are attracted to that are attracted to the trauma of it all. And if you understand like how trauma plays in relationships, you'll understand that like if you're a nice guy, look for a nice girl, not a girl that wants to go there with you. And
okay, so she's getting engaging in like psycho talk, like psychological talk, not psycho, but a little bit psycho.
she probably reads dark romance.
I mean, like, yeah, like not even acknowledging, like, oh well, if they like these like shitty guys, it's like because they're just drawn to trauma. No, they like the thrill and the danger. They like they either want to be with men who are high status and therefore like, you know, have a lot of money, have a really good job, will make them feel secure, give them whatever they want. Or if they can't get that, then they want a man who could just kill other men. Like basically has the ability or desire to do violence at her behest. And that means that to some degree, she's got to be around violence, but she'll accept it because she's like, well, this is what happens in the hood all the time. This is why like the drug dealers and the gangbangers, you know, some of the highest ones that are willing to like kill people and do violence, or even in like third world countries, those are the men that will get women because if they can't make money, they can at least brutalize people and like destroy things. And women will think, well, that guy will keep me safe because he's like the biggest, baddest dude on the block or whatever. So, I mean, I'm just saying that's what women respond to. Like we, you know, what drives me nuts is we listen to what women say they want, but we have to ignore what they actually respond to. Like, what the behavior says. They'll be like, no, I wouldn't want to be with a piece of shit guy. That's just, and then she goes into her psychological therapeutic shit that she read online instead of going, well, actually, yeah, I do kind of like the drug dealers that will like, you know, kill a motherfucker because he looked at him wrong, because then they'll do that for me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just what it is. Like, I don't know why we're just pussyfooting around this fact. I've seen it. So anyway.
I don't know. Let's does she go anywhere sensible? Let's find out.
Don't think it's true that nice guys finish last. Again, I think a lot of guys frame themselves as being nice guys and then they go, I gave you food, why didn't you have sex with me? It's like it's not really like, usually I feel like in most cases it's just nice.
Okay, so basically what I'm hearing is masculine men are wrong, nice guys are wrong. But also, do you notice how one side of this is all about what they want and the other side is all about how to give them what they want? You know, and what the obligation should be placed on men, and this side is what men should be giving them. And no conversation about what they give men. And this particular woman, I mean, and the funny thing is it's actually worse than that, because so far I have not heard articulated a clear expectation for men. I mean, it's one thing to put expectations on men that you do not put on women. It's another thing entirely to have completely contradictory expectations placed on men, expectations that men feel ashamed of the fact that they're men because they are the source of patriarchal whatever, right? All of this absolute fart of expectations that you can't pin down at all. That is not a coherent set of expectations. That's just a randomly changing obstacle course. And honestly, what these women are describing so far is just the inside of their own neuroses. This woman, I want a man who's got something going on, but not more than me. How about you just want a companion? If you don't want a man who's taking care of you, then go for the companion, in which case it doesn't matter if he's weak or nice or good. That's what you'd want. You want a companion because you're not judging him on whether or not he can bust a skull or make $1 billion in the stock market. You're judging him on how sweet and gentle and caring he is, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what she wants either. This is what they're skirting around. And the other thing is that at this point in time, there's probably no reason to ask women what they want, because it's so distorted by all the bullshit they've been told that they have no idea. What they want is so fucked up and so incoherent. As we can see, I mean, we've only gone to 2 of them and we're already at a point where nothing is clearly conveyed, right? So it's a constant moving target, and it's distorted by therapy speak, by feminist narrative, by all of her girlfriends who are going to pick at her if she ever has a boyfriend. They're going to pick at everything they can.
They're gonna like judge her worth based on her choices, like to be with this man.
Like
they're
all
gonna,
of this. And if she's on social media, she's going to be picked at by the other hens. Like all of this is so distorted at this point that there is no clear signal coming off of the women. I mean, I didn't have much hope for the 2 on the end at all. I have a little bit of hope for the one in the middle, maybe, The one beside the blonde chick is a feminist. I'm almost certain. But maybe a little hope for the slightly tomboyish girl who sometimes looks like she doesn't want to be there. But I'm not I'm
You
guessing
mean
that
Velma on the end there?
no, Velma.
Yeah, in the orange sweater
Yeah, you think that's
and the
Velma?
ripped jeans.
Yeah, Velma. Is it the good Velma or the bad Velma? Like the original
I
Velma?
don't remember. I won't spoil anything, but
Oh, okay. Am I
it could
completely
be
off?
bad Velma,
Could be bad
like the
Velma.
Mindy Kaling Velma, but not
Okay,
as
so
not as over the top as that. Okay.
okay, I just want to say one thing before we continue. Try to find one clear standard, right? That isn't immediately contradicted. Okay? One clear standard. The one with the long brown hair, she wants a successful man that's not too successful and doesn't impact her success and also values her success. Good luck with that. The blonde girl does not want a nice guy, but does not want a masculine man. Actually, you know what? Why don't we do this, make this even more simple and clear? Do these women ever say what they want and what they don't instead of what they don't want? Okay.
Okay, I won't give anything away, but there is a good bit towards the end. I will
All right.
we'll come back to that.
Okay.
I would say it's all on the host, the guy in the middle, the moderator. But let's hear from
Tail hiding behind somewhere.
But I would argue in the sense of like what you stated, that majority of the men that are quote unquote feminine aren't looking to protect you in any like way, shape, or form, in the sense that like, yeah, they might, in your opinion, like you might be traumatized from quote unquote masculine men, but when you're in danger, who's the first person that you call to come save you?
I called my blicky. So and
Who's
this
your
is funny because I
blinky?
was in a
her gun. She basically saying that she can protect herself. Richard Bier gave us 5 and says, imagine if this woman actually encountered a genie that could grant wishes. What would that conversation look like?
I don't know what it looked like, but it would end with some kind of
Head
Cthulhu
explosion. The
eldritch
genie's head would
monster.
explode because it
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to grant the wish.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be clear. The wish wouldn't be made
Okay,
clear.
so and here's the ultimate conflict. This is what's hilarious. And you'll notice this as you go through. Okay, I'm gonna downgrade the one beside her. I don't think she's a feminist, but who knows? They probably all are. This is
Yeah, probably. Go ahead.
okay. All right, this is gonna be hilarious. The women want something, right? They want a man to bring something to the table, but they don't want to need anything from a man. And that's the essential problem here. This woman wants stuff from men. She wants, but she does not want to want it. So the moment where she actually describes something that she finds attractive, which I don't think she has, and not in the negative, she can't do it because that means she's recognizing a want. So she doesn't want a nice guy. She doesn't want a weak guy. She doesn't want a good guy, but she doesn't want a masculine guy. She doesn't want a man who protects. She doesn't want a man. And yet she does because she's sitting there talking about this as if this is relevant to her. And this is the essential problem. You can't fix this. Men cannot fix this problem that women have. Right? They want men to bring something, but they don't want to need that thing that men bring. They don't want that thing that men bring. Do you get what I'm saying? Men have to bring something to the table, but the table doesn't want to have to want the thing that men bring. And you cannot resolve that. Like they're just sitting in this contradiction. And because they're like, for whatever reason, women are okay with sitting in these kinds of contradictions, they don't resolve it in any point. Right? They just sit with this, I want a man who brings something to the table, but I don't want to have to want what he brings to the table. It's like,
yeah.
Good
yeah,
luck
they
with
want to
that.
be in a state of like desiring but not needing, but like, and also like being able to do it on their own, but it feeling comfort in knowing that there's someone who can give it to them also.
Yes.
Like, yeah, so I know, I get it. It's a product of women living in the absolute most abundant, most safe, most secure time in all of human history and taking it for granted. That I mean, I don't know what, like, if we, like, you know, if we experience a massive collapse of society, women will maybe finally be like, oh shit, I think we need those what were those things that we had around that we got rid of and shamed for all those years? Men, I think they're called. I think we need those now, you know? It's like, anyway. So yeah, let's keep going.
Conversation, but I recently had to get a gun. I also, throughout media, we see time and time again, there was a little girl that was recently kidnapped in Arkansas, and she was like 13 years old, and she asked the men, can you help me? Can you help me? She went to 2 different places. None of the men helped her. In most situations, I actually don't feel like men are our protectors.
What the
feel like men
fuck
protect
are
us
you
if we have
talking about? Oh God. Okay, no, I'm not going to start screeching. Lady, you are so full of shit. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The instant that that man said, hey, you probably want a man who can protect you. Who do you look for? She's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want a weak man. I don't want a nice man. I don't want a man who could not protect me or not protect me, because that what, you know, but I don't want a man who could protect me, or I do want a man who could protect me, but I don't want to want a man who could protect me. You see this bullshit? Like, this is bullshit. This is absolute excremental bullshit. I don't know how she lives in her brain. But also, she's full of shit. Men are predominantly police, predominantly EMT, predominantly firefighters and first responders. Right? Men are predominantly the ones who intervene when risk has to happen. The reason why those men probably didn't help her is because she's a 13-year-old girl and they're a man. Let's be honest. They help a strange 13-year-old girl, and they could be utterly fucked. Their entire life could be over just from helping a child. And that's the society that we've constructed, right? And this anecdote is absolute bullshit. Hell, men spend more time policing lesbian domestic violence than engaging in domestic violence against women. Or at least are probably approximately the same. Think about that. The amount of time that lesbians engage in domestic violence against each other, men spend policing it. And that is actually either equal to or more than the amount of time that men engage in domestic violence against women. Think about that. So men are not just protecting women against fires, hurricanes, criminals. They're protecting lesbians against other lesbians, women from other women. And then she has the absolute unmitigated bullshit gall to beak off about something she has no clue about. And
Yep.
honestly, I do not think I'm going to look at this without my green glasses. No, that blonde hair is doing nothing for her. Okay.
No, it's a wig. It's a hair hat.
they own. I don't genuinely feel like most men are just like, oh, I'm going to be a knight in shining armor. In fact, in most situations where I've had aggressive men speak to me in aggressive ways, the people that have stood out to me the most have gone like, they've been women for me. Like, I don't feel a sense of protection when men are around.
Do you think society promotes that though? Do you think the way that women, not just women, but I guess society in a whole, they discourage men from wanting to step in and protect and do all these other things because you see so many, I guess, downsides for it when a guy steps in, the way that he does it or the way that he's protected somebody, society is blaming him for, doing it in an incorrect way or whatever it may be. What also kind of shines.
Yeah, like Daniel Penny, like so many men who have stepped up and then they've like gotten arrested, or women will, they get accused of something. Like, what if there was a 12-year-old girl and some man like rescued her? Like, what if like he gets accused of something too? I don't buy her story personally, but and even if that was something that actually happened, like it could be framed by the media in whatever way. I mean, how many times have you seen, what was it, the Dark Knight shooting? Do you guys remember the
Yeah.
Daniel Penny? Yeah, I know, I said that, Black Raptor. So do you guys remember the Dark Knight shooting? Like when they had, like, they were showing, I think it was Dark Knight Rises, and this guy with green hair shot up the theater, and I guess like he killed a bunch of people before he was finally subdued by men who were in the theater, and the media was basically saying like essentially they were still saying the men in the theater were not heroic enough, even though he was ultimately stopped by men. Like, and it was like they didn't act quickly enough because there were women that got shot essentially, and that was like the problem. So I'm not saying that men are legitimately going, well, I remember that incident that happened and I'm not going to step up, but like it's why would men risk themselves for strangers when it's not even acknowledged as a positive. Like there's no encouragement to do anything, and so men aren't doing anything. Like they just get accused of shit, like they get shit on. So it's like whatever.
The answer is that it's an instinct. So when men don't have the ability to think, like they don't have the time to think cerebrally about an intervention, they probably intervene because it's instinctual. It's what men do. They protect their social group. And this woman is absolutely full of shit, but she has the most important data of them all. She feels like men aren't safe. But and the thing is that he's sort of buying into her framing by saying, well, do you think that, maybe the messaging makes men not want to do this? Which is a very valid point, but it also buys into her framing. A simpler question would be, if a mugger attempts to steal your purse and your partner expects you to handle it, just steps back and gets the popcorn and says, hey, you're on, my strong independent woman. What would you think of him? Is that the kind of man you would want to be with? Right? And that would cut through all of her bullshit, because the real thing is that she does want that. She just doesn't want to want that. And that is the problem with women today, and why you will never get a coherent answer from any of them. Right? Because because they've been told by feminists that wanting the things that men do is the ultimate being cheated, right? Because that is the source of all of the ways that men get something out of them. Like men sacrificing for them is somehow men getting something out of them. Men taking the bullet for them. Wow, that's just men taking the bullet that they could have took for themselves. This is the framework that they're given by feminism. So when they want a man to do manly things, they hate wanting it. And that's what you're dealing with here. And you cannot pair bond to this nonsense. You can't. All these women are demonstrating is that they are they don't have the qualities necessary to be a wife or a partner. That's all that this is. It's a bunch of men saying, well, what do we do to be good husbands and fathers? And a bunch of women saying, we don't want to want you because functionally we are not good mothers and wives. So you got one side who wants to step up, and the other side that is constantly stepping back, stepping down, running away, fleeing, because they've been told that wanting a man is a source of their oppression. Like I said, good luck wifing that shit up. Okay.
All right.
The light on that is the times that you do see when people call domestic violence situations, those that guy's a man, he has testosterone, he's probably physically stronger than a lot of those people. That doesn't mean he's a strong man. Like that's a weak dude that's sitting there causing violence and trauma onto certain people. But when you see a lot of society discourage men from being in, I guess, that traditional role of being a protector, that's probably why you see a lot of people a lot of men doing that now, is because they are discouraged to do so.
And that
I take back the idiot comment. He's groping towards something. Let him cook.
All right.
Let's hear what the other ones
Where I
say.
get back to my point, that is a weak mindset in my opinion. If you feel like you are a protector, no matter who's saying if society's telling you, oh, you protected wrong, it wouldn't matter if your values were like in the fact that like you wanted to like protect people. I don't think society should have a way of shaming.
Okay,
you.
all right.
Can we like lock up society? Because society seems to be causing a lot of problems for people. Like
Yeah.
whenever we get close to like looking at something real, society steps in and takes credit. I don't know. I guess we gotta put society through
On the
some anger
trial.
management training or maybe some therapy sessions. Can somebody find me society so we can give them a good stern talking to about what they're doing to women in this world, what they're doing to people? Somebody get society on the phone.
Yeah, this is why I'm always clear and I say
I
governments,
know.
NGOs, academics. I'm talking about a specific behavior with a paper trail. I'm not talking about society. But this woman, so I think that men aren't protective, and I think it's weak-minded to say that there are certain men that don't protect. So him saying that men who engage in domestic violence are weak is weak-minded, according to her, because he should take responsibility for every instance that men fail women. Even though men do take responsibility for men failing women, that's what police are for, and prosecutors and jails, which we wouldn't have without men. Okay? So, and we wouldn't even be able to jail violent lesbians without men. So there you go. Like it doesn't matter if the domestic violence, the person engaging in it is male or female. It's men who are making sure that they stop in whatever way that they can. So I don't like, how do you, okay. Let's hear what she has to say. I despair of a thought that's coherent, but
Not believing in what you believe in, because if you are able to be like maneuvered by society in a way like that, I don't think that's a deep core value you have. That's
what
like
you
something
just said.
people told you were a
That
protector,
men-
people told you were a provider, and you built that mindset. And then you had a few women that were like, I don't actually want you to protect me. And now you're oh yeah, I'll just let the woman on the subway get stabbed. Like, I don't know. It's just like, if you
What? Wait a minute. I have something for that. Hold on.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Man says Dr. Society told him be a provider protector. He goes to do it. A woman says, I don't need that. Another woman gets stabbed on the subway and the man does nothing.
It's
Oh,
actually
man.
breaking my brain trying to follow this woman's logic. I think literally what her logic
is like the minecart levels in Donkey Kong Country, which are notoriously difficult, but anyway.
I think her logic is, I think literally her logic is completely emotional. It is simply reject the man at every available opportunity. Anything a man says, reject it. Reject men here, reject men over there, reject men up, reject men down, reject men on the vertical and the horizontal, reject men in Belize, reject men in Antarctica. Just reject men. That's what everything is about rejecting men. Everything out of her mouth is rejecting men. She is displaying the rejection of men because she has bought into the narrative that her social worth revolves around rejecting men. Like that's what it all comes down to. That's everything she's doing. There's no coherence in this. She's like, I reject men when they don't take responsibility for protecting me. But I also even doubly reject men when they do take responsibility for rejecting me. And I also reject the idea that men even want to take responsibility for rejecting me. And I reject the idea that weak men don't take responsibility for. It's like everything just comes back to that one action. She's just basically gagging, like rejecting constantly. Gagging up men. That's all she does. Not down, up. The wrong kind of gagging. All right.
Yeah. I think we can. So I think even though the other two questions are the second one is longer, a women's body count doesn't matter. Or a women's body count matters, I think is what it is. And then there's or matters more than men's. And then there's dating apps are not for dating. But this first one has the most meat on it. So maybe we can just go through this bit and then I'll jump to the end where it gets to the bit that I like. I think it's about an hour in.
Can we hear what those other women say?
I know we're gonna play the rest of this. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think the other women are. This woman talks the most. So, but anyway, let's go.
Says the least.
Truly more
Yeah, and says the least.
morally actually felt a way about that, it wouldn't matter who. It wouldn't matter if my mom, it wouldn't matter if God said something. If you truly felt that way, your behavior wouldn't change. If your behavior changes based on societal circumstances.
You mean women? What women are saying. So if a man changes to what women want him to do, that's a bad man. But here I have a question, lady. What if men don't change to what women want them to be? Does that not also make them bad? Everything just always lands back on what? Reject men. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's her emotional logic. There's no actual coherent actual logic to what she's saying. Her emotional logic just always lands back on it feels good to reject men, so that's what I'm going to do.
Core value.
I'll hop. I get what you're saying, and I do agree, in the sense, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, where if you think you're a protector, right, and you see something going wrong, if that's your value, you should protect
You
them,
don't
right?
see if you're a protector. This is something you do. This is not, men are not, this guy isn't even, do these men have a male experience? I'm not talking about the dude that's more grounded or the two dudes on the right. Do they, everything is performance. I see myself as a protector, therefore I should, it's an action. You see the difference, what I'm saying, Brian?
I know. It's not something you say you do. It's something that you do or you don't do.
Yes, it's not
you don't. The thing is, I think this guy feels like he owes this woman an explanation, and he's giving them one, or he's trying to speak their language, which probably is more in the performance arena instead of just demonstrating it. I don't know.
The same side of that coin to what they were saying. You see it all the time on social media, the little TikToks and shit, a girl drop her purse, drop her wallet. The dude picks it up and he goes to give it to her. She's like, I have a boyfriend. And then it's like, dude, what the fuck? I'm just trying to help you. So it's the media and stuff portrays that a lot. So I'm not saying I'm just saying it's you know what I'm saying? Some people could get
okay, I got you.
It's I want to help you, but it's they've seen so much of the media where it's well, if I go to help it, it's going to instantly backfire. I mean, that prime example, trying to give the wallet, I have a boyfriend. It's I'm not trying to holler at you. I'm just trying to give you your wallet that you dropped. I could have robbed you, ran off with your cash, but I'm trying to do the right thing.
We can talk about it, but first we need to get their first statements and also kind of bring it back to the prompt itself, right? I mean, this is great. It's just,
they were way off on the prompt there. They were talking about all this other shit, but not unrelated. But yeah, they got off topic.
I just want to say, men are adorable. I was looking over here. They're so cute.
We were just told we shouldn't be glazing them on the stream, but
yeah, no, I mean, I'm glazing them somewhat. That guy's, he had a sensible thing to say, and you're right. He probably was trying to say it in her language. And no, I mean, aside from the one in plaid, no, there are two in plaid. The one in the center, Mr. Creepy, the three on the far left, they seem pretty adorable. I like how composed the one in the middle is. He's just I'm here. I'm bringing my best intellectual.
I think he's trying to be. I think the guy in the black, the white dude in the black, clothes, I think he was raised right, but I mean that's just at least to some degree. He had a dad. But anyway,
after that, right? So let's get yours, and then it's all you guys.
No, I disagree because I think kind of what you were saying. There's a difference between good and weak. I want a nice guy. I want a good guy. I want that quality. But they have to be able to. They can't just be so passive. They can't just. It's kind of the idea of oh, they're put on a pedestal, but what are you providing? You know, it's like, great, put me on a pedestal, but let me also put you on a pedestal, match my energy. Like, let's put each other on a pedestal and build each other up. But I think, you know, there's a vast majority of women, myself included, that like, you know, good guys, want to be treated well, but also want like a man that's going to meet their energy. Like, I'm a strong woman. I need someone that's going to match that. So I do.
Red flag. I'm a strong woman. Yeah, Allison, for the record, they're all feminists because they're just modern women. And modern women are feminists. Like there is no distinction that's just, you know, if you're a woman and you're like modern and you're on the internet, you're a feminist, most likely. Like very few of them are not. So strong woman alert. I need like a thing that I can like makes the light strong woman blink on the screen with like sirens. Strong woman alert. But anyway,
what's hilarious is okay. Let's keep let her finish. I just want to point something out.
Like femininity in men, I think that's a wonderful quality.
Stop.
But there needs to be a balance, just like within me.
Oh God. Do you see? I don't think that she's a very large woman.
Oh no, she's a little bit chunky. She's chunky.
Yeah, but she says, I want a man to meet my energy. Lady. You realize that 95% of men could probably outrun you. I don't want to say 95% of men could lift you, but they could probably outrun you. I think that you don't have a problem. Most women do not have a problem finding a man who can meet their energy. They do today because men are told that their energy is wrong. Right? But all of the guys on that other side, they could meet or exceed her energy. Massively exceed her energy. I don't even know what the hell she means by I want a man who meets my energy. Yeah, that's most men. Like most men are going to be a hell of a lot stronger and more energetic than you are.
I think she means like not physical, but more like, you know, ambition. Like her, like she's claiming to be ambitious, which is easy to do if you get these bullshit jobs that they just give to women, thanks to DEI hiring practices. So like if you just get a job at a tech company, you know, going to meetings and eating avocado toast all day, then you're going to be like thinking that you're the shit. And you're going to be like, well, I got to find a man that matches that. Meanwhile, men actually have to work hard to get a job that's like pays half as much. So it's almost like that the job market just like exists to sabotage potential relationships because women are looking for men. They think, first of all, that they got that job completely on their own. And then on top of that, they're looking for men that also got that job or a better job actually on their own as well. So, and men they're just not getting that work because they're not like the schools aren't taking care of them. Colleges aren't taking care of them. So they end up, you know, and of course on the job, they're constantly at risk of losing it for one reason or another. Maybe some chick didn't like the way he looked at her and went to human resources. So, you know, it's like the deck is stacked against them in that way. And the only thing that could fix it is if women said, wait a minute, maybe I'm not supposed to have this job. Like this job, either I'm not supposed to have it because I didn't get it on merit because I got it because of some quota I was meeting, or I'm okay with making more than my boyfriend. And I'm okay with that because we'll just use that to build our own thing or whatever, you know?
Okay. What I was going to say is this. This is also her navigating what is socially expected. Like all of these women are not talking purely from what they desire. They're talking in terms of their status with other women in the sisterhood. So when she says, I want a man who meets my energy, what she probably means is she wants a man who's going to throw her around during sex, right? Who's dominant in other ways, but she can't say that. Because she's not allowed. The sisterhood does not allow her to. I meant that. This is a little bit of hyperbole, but is dominant. The sisterhood does not allow her to do that. So she says instead, I want a man who's going to meet my dominant energy. I want an equal. This is not like That's if she's not saying she just wants a man to tolerate her bullshit. This might be a negotiation between what she actually wants and what she has to say to appease the sisterhood, because she's walking on eggshells and she doesn't want to be excluded from the company of other women. That makes sense? So she doesn't actually want a man to meet her energy. She's saying that she is the energy that she wants from men. And she's going to say she already has it, because if she frames it as equality, then it becomes acceptable to want. It's like this constant negotiation. These women have this constant negotiation between the expectations from the sisterhood that they not want men and what they actually want from men. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Needs to be a balance of my femininity and masculine qualities as well too. So it's all about balance and matching energy, I think.
As pertaining to the
So
prompt, I feel like
now
it's just a
she's
certain
talking
level of
about a man
attraction
matching her
because
feminine energy. Isn't that
Well, no,
interesting?
she's talking about balance, man, because that's what matters, the balancing the masculine and feminine energy. Of course, she'll be the one that decides whether or not the man is balancing it. So it's like
Mm,
it's not an arbitrary like standard, it's her standard. So
mm.
whatever that is, you know. But okay, let's look at Velma here.
like I feel like this is just me personally. I don't know if they agree with this, but if I see you and I'm personally attracted to you, you could be the shittiest person in the world or you could be the best person in the world. As long as I have that like attraction to you and you don't f it up, then we should be cool. And then I also feel like it's just this certain level of like masculinity. It's the difference between being comfortable in your masculinity and feeling like very toxic in it, to where you feel like you have to be this certain person
Okay,
or
wait,
do
am I
this certain thing or
understanding this
something like that.
correctly? It doesn't matter if the man is an asshole as long as she gets the tingles?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
also he should be comfortable in his masculinity but not toxic? Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
That's
Here are a series of contradictions and paradoxes that I want from men. Oh man, Gen Z is so cooked, guys. They're cooked.
but,
And
okay. I mean, I appreciated her honesty. Like,
no,
it
I know,
doesn't.
but she doesn't think that what she's saying is irrational or unreasonable at all. She's just like, here's a whole bunch of shit that's nonsense that I expect. And I just thought, like, why can't you just give me this? It's so simple. Here's a conundrum wrapped in a paradox. Be that.
I want this in men, but I don't want to want this.
Just be a collapsing fourth dimensional geometric shape, guys. That's all you gotta do, bro.
That's so simple.
Be a tesseract, bro.
Tesseract Max.
No, Gen Z men are cooked too because they can't get with Gen Z women, dude. I'm not saying that they're not, that, you know, like I get that Gen Z men are actually more based than previous generations, but they have to deal with these women. So that's a problem.
I'm curious how the men are responding to this now.
Oh,
Let's
I
see.
know. They're probably trying to like decipher what's going on. Like, let me get my what was my decoder ring out and figure out what she's saying. But okay.
Look at you as you're weak or this, that, and the third. Like, honestly, like me personally, I do want a masculine man. I want a man to sit there. I want to be led. As a woman, I feel like my job as a woman is to be led, not to be controlled. But if you telling me I'm doing this for your good, I'm gonna at least take a step back and be like, okay, is he doing this for my good? Does he even have the qualities to lead me? Is he even able to be put in that position? So when we talk about all these nice guys, it's like you said, the difference between nice and weak. It's like, are you just doing this as a tactic of control? Or are you doing this because you really want to see me shine? You really want to see me grind?
There's something I want to see what you guys thought of.
Okay, here's the question, lady. All right. If you do you understand? Okay, so a man should lead but not be controlling. That's a really fine line. I
wants
do
the man to
appreciate.
lead, but only if she trusts. She doesn't have the ability to give trust, though.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
Allowing a man to lead is a risk to women, but she's not willing to take a risk.
Yeah,
So-
and I would say that the reason why she's not willing to take a risk is in her language right there, toxic masculinity. Right?
Mhm.
If she actually, like, I mean, of all of them, I think that she might be the least problematic, and that is not
She's
saying
probably
much.
the most grounded for a woman, yes.
Yes, it's not saying
But
much.
she's still asking for paradoxical shit. I think that what I believe it is this conflict of like what they're told that they should want and then what they actually want.
Yeah,
And
that's what
those
I
things
was
are contradictions. Like they're battling the feminist narrative about men and then their impulses, or
Yes.
their biology. And those
Yes,
things are
exactly.
at odds. Does that make sense? Am I wrong?
Well, yes, that's what I've been saying. Like
Yeah.
they have to frame everything in terms. They're hedging with the sisterhood, with everything. Like the one in the middle is hedging with the sisterhood when she says, "I want a man who matches my energy," and then she mumbles something about femininity. And I think that what she means is, I am going to say that I'm strong and dominant. I want a man who matches that energy because I just want a strong and dominant man, and I'm not allowed to. And the woman in there is like, I want a man to lead me and I want to submit, but I'm not allowed to want that. So I'm going to say, well, only if he's not toxically masculine or controlling. So they're both like, they're tithing to feminism, the feminism in the room. You got to look at these women and just imagine a gigantic, bitchy female giant leaning over them saying, you better say what I tell you to say. Right there.
Yeah, like if the man is leading based on her like whims, then he's not leading, she is. And I think that on a gut level, women will sense that something about this is wrong, even though they're getting what they want.
Yeah. But again, they are, like you said, they are trying to negotiate between what they want and what the sisterhood, they think they know that the sisterhood wants them to say. And that's why it's almost impossible to make a connection to this, because the sisterhood does not want them to have a partnership. The sisterhood wants them to think that the worst thing they can do is want men. So somehow they want things from men, but they don't want to want those things, which is functionally impossible. And that's why everything they say is contradictory, immediately contradicted, immediately qualified. And like I said, oh gosh, that guy, the Indian guy is grinning his ass off. Actually, the two of them are. Like the one in the middle probably is just thinking, "Oh, how do I make myself how do I increase my status?"
At this point, the host interrupted, so I might be reacting to him.
Okay, all right.
Well, the moderator.
Yeah.
Nova Fan gave us a Rumble rant and said, whenever I hear a woman say a man needs to match her energy, lead but not control, etc., it's all code for spoil me without telling me you want, I want. What? Without telling me you want, I want. Okay, I just read it. I mean, I think I know what you're saying, but you're saying spoil me without telling me what you want, maybe. All right, but anyway, so we've gone for about an hour and a half. I think that I'd like to get to the good bit, unless you want to hear what the moderator says.
Sure, let's hear what the moderator says. So the
Okay.
men don't say anything interesting to all this nonsense?
I don't know. Let's see.
Based on like my understanding of looking into it, it comes down to like presentable value. So like if he's in a relationship with you and he's like putting you all the time, number one, I love you, beautiful, all this all the time, not really anything about him. They say that would be him projecting that he has no value. Like you have all the value. No offense, I'm not saying you actually, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like in men or women,
I can't believe
people that provide
how gracious he is. He actually is aware of the fact that he might be reducing that guy's value. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no, like, he's not creating a hierarchy with him on top, or he's trying to. That is actually really gracious.
Yeah.
What he just did. I don't know if it's because he's the moderator or like this dude is the one in the what is that, the greenish, the dark gray plaid, not the white plaid. He's like, I'm going to compete with all the men, and this dude is like, no, I'm going to make sure that I don't reduce your status relative to me. See the difference? Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
just interesting. Just something I noticed.
It is.
too much of that validation. And I also read it's because people think that we want love, but what we really want is reward. So like it would hit a lot harder like a slot machine if you lose every time than you win. You feel really good. If that person's terrible to you most of the time or not available most of the time, but then they are, it hits so much
That's exactly
harder.
what I was talking
That's what
about.
we're really looking for. At least
Can I actually make another
I've
point?
talked about that but in the past, where if you're like a nice guy, then people expect you to be a nice guy. So if you have like an off day, you're like extra shit to them because they're accustomed, they're spoiled by your good behavior. But if you're someone who generally doesn't have good behavior and then one day you're nice, then that like is like, whoa, like suddenly it's like a big deal. It's because we don't take the time to like constantly remind ourselves that people, like that I don't know, like every good deed should be acknowledged no matter how many times it happens, because so that you don't take it for granted. And also when someone who is bad normally and does something good, that should also be acknowledged, because maybe it'll encourage them to continue that behavior. So, but anyway, I'm sorry, Allison, what were you going to say? I talked over you.
I was going to say that guy's really that is an unconscious green flag. He not only reduced the potential status threat, I think he also identified the man that is more difficult to deal with in terms of status, and preferentially, like that's actually that's an interesting quality. That's genuine leadership there. Of course, he's also the moderator, so that might be it as well.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm just saying it's interesting. Like it's an interesting contrast between the one guy who's like, I'm going to compete with all the other men and put them down.
I'm guessing this moderator guy is not single.
Yeah, and the moderator's guy who noticed that, accommodated it, and when he engaged in something that this dude is more apparently more anxious about his status, might have perceived as lowering his status, he actually addressed it preferentially. That's very aware. Like it's the way that men navigate status. And a competent like leader who is male navigates issues of status. So I found that interesting. Not gonna be remarked upon by anyone, no doubt, but because these women don't know what the fuck they're looking at. That's the problem.
No.
Like you listen to these women, they don't know how to judge men. They don't know how to judge what is a good man. They don't know how to judge what is a bad man. Like, I mean, I'll go back to that one thing that happened like years and years ago, the Russian Deadpool, Brian.
Oh yeah.
Where independently, me and Karen both recognized that this dude, Russian Deadpool, was bad news. Serious bad news. And we did not want to be around him because we were invited by other people to go on panels with him. And we'd already been once. And I'd never spoken to Karen about this man, or at least not much. And she had never spoken to me. And independently, we both said, we don't want to have anything to do with him. And then a week later, or even days later, he shoots his one of his two harem girls in a parking lot because she tried to leave him. And it's like, you can tell when men are bad, right? And a woman is perfectly capable of telling this stuff. Those women don't know what they want. They don't know how to identify a bad man, or not even a bad man, or just a man who's incapable of actually being in a relationship with them, because they're not given the tools. Feminism says that it gives women the tools to identify bad men, but it doesn't. Guess that guy who shot his girlfriend in a park, he was a feminist. They were all feminists. Feminism doesn't give women the tools to do anything. All it does give women the tools to do is reject men, to the point where the only men they don't reject are toxic. And then they all complain that all men are like this. Yes, because you buy into a framework that filters out every man who doesn't induce FOMO in you. And the men who are going to induce FOMO in you are going to be sociopath adjacent. Okay, I will continue. Let's continue.
All right.
Unhealed and immature people, which is a lot of the population regardless of the age. What do you guys think about that?
I agree with that.
I agree.
Kind
build off what you just said. Sorry. Go ahead. Okay. You just said something really interesting. You said people want a reward. Well, usually reward always comes after challenge. So I think what really people want is they always want a challenge, but not an impossible challenge, but one that they know they can overcome. So I think a good partner does that. They challenge you. They challenge you to get better about your mental and physical health. They challenge you to get better about, building a family. They want you to challenge you about getting better about building something
Pretty
together
generic.
that you can pass on to your kids. So I think that's really what people want. And so like kind of going back to what we're talking about, putting somebody on a pedestal. When you put her on a pedestal, like you said, it doesn't challenge you at all. So that's where you get bored. Like look at people who don't have any challenges in their life. Kids that, the trust fund kids that grow up but have everything handed to them. They end up just going through life doing nothing productive.
A woman's
All right.
Okay,
That was-
I'm gonna say something to this because I actually have something that's against the counter. I think that both do. That's why Christians say no extramarital sex.
What do you mean by both do?
I think of both a man's body count does and a woman's body count does.
Oh yeah, we don't have to go through this one.
Okay.
No, and I think it does, but I think that women have a lot more opportunity than men. So like
Yes.
women's body counts they tend to be higher than men's, like by a lot, because if most women are rejecting most men, just like a phone number or a date, then they're definitely not getting like laid. But women have a lot more opportunity, especially because of dating apps and everything. So I think that yes, I think that a high body count can negatively impact people regardless of their sex.
I
But
think that
women
it-
have a lot more opportunity, so their body counts tend to be much higher because they're just they have more access. Like it's just easy to do.
With men, okay, actually I won't go into it, but it's the way that people are conducting their lives now is actually impedes the formation of pair bonding. And as a result of my endocrine studies, I have concluded that the single best form of courtship is the standard Christian courtship. I know this sounds really weird. They've somehow intuited the precise way to create the strongest pair bond, and among other things, because I would say that they're being sneaky and kinky, but I won't get into it. In a very wholesome way, they're being sneaky in a wholesome way. But yes, the Christian courtship is the best courtship to create a pair bond. It's better than arranged marriages, which is the usual pattern in more traditional cultures. So it's interesting how it all fell out, and it comes right out of the biology of pair bonding and how men and women's endocrine structures are arranged. So it's just fascinating, but I won't go any into it because I'm not gonna spurge all over you. Spurge and spurg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, look, we don't have to like listen to any of this stuff, but a lot of the women kind of like they kind of expose themselves as having a pretty high body count because they're so upset by the fact that it matters. But the thing is, it's two things. Well, yes, I think a high body count can affect the individual in terms of their ability to pair bond. But when it comes to their value, I think women's value is lowered by a high body count, but men's value is raised because when a woman sees a man as getting a lot of other women, she sees him as like a prize, right? Oh, he's doing really well with women. I'll make my girlfriends jealous with this guy. So it's got more to do not so much with the behavior of the person with the body count, but the response by the opposite sex to them. When men's response to a woman with a high body count is, oh, she's probably got diseases, she's a little too loose, she might cheat on me, like whatever, right? She's treating this as very casual. I'm not a fan of that. Women see it as, oh, that guy conquers a lot, he's doing really well, but he hasn't found the one. Maybe I'm the one, right? Like there's like a different perspective on it. So I think that there's two ways to look at it, but I think in general, for good psychological and sexual health, it's probably better if you have a low body count, regardless of your sex.
and
at the very least, so that you don't get a disease. Like at the very least. So
okay, let's go to your last bit that you
All right.
thought was really fun.
So let's go. Yeah, that's about 50 9 minutes. So it's like over here, 58 minutes. I'm gonna try and find it. Okay, here we go. I thought this was pretty good.
Everything right.
Aw.
That being said, if you haven't paid attention yet, if you want to learn how to find someone, and you're single right now, both sides have pretty much laid down exactly what the opposite sex thinks. So you could take this, and counterpoint could be the result of your future happy relationship.
Okay,
So,
but
that being said,
my dude, as much as I appreciate your instinctive, you know, I don't want to say alphaness, but you know, being a good leader, what these women said was incoherent. And the honest to God truth is it really had nothing to do with what they desire, because they have the sisterhood in the room with them that insists that they can't want what they want. Like that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to want men. That is not acceptable. That's what the sisterhood is telling them. So they're constantly hedging and contradicting themselves and producing nonsense and living in that headspace where the sisterhood approves of them if they reject men. So they say a lot of bullshit. And it's like, well, nothing actionable has come from the right side. It's all incoherent. And the men are just there and they're like, well, what should they, and even just asking, what standard do we need to live up to? And maybe if we live up to that standard, you should tell us that this is that we have at least lived up to the standard, and not say that we have to live up to the standard and then complain about living it up to. Even that is not sufficient. Like, these men are there to live up to a standard. They just want a clear standard, and they want the feedback clear. Like they're stepping up and they're saying, okay, give us a standard to live up to. And the women are like, well, I want you to be masculine, but I don't want you to be masculine. I want you to be leading, but I don't want you to be controlling. And the difference is toxic masculinity. So what's toxic masculinity? Well, it just seems to be masculinity. So don't be masculine, but also be masculine. So go back to part 1. And I want you to match my energy. But that I don't really know what that means. And also I want you to have something going on, but not so much that interferes with what I have going on and you supporting that. And it's like endless back and forth contradiction, because literally they have been taught by the sisterhood that they are not allowed to want men. And they are trying desperately in everything they say to square that circle, which means everything that comes out of their mouths is incoherent. Ladies, you can either pair bond to the sisterhood, who doesn't give a fuck about you, except maybe to backhand you if you disagree, or you can pair bond to men, and men are far more adorable. Okay.
All right, let's listen to that wasn't the bit, so.
Is anybody comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think you're single?
I think I'm single.
So now he's asking them, why do you think you're single? Which is I think it's a great question.
Oh my God.
So this is a great question, because well, we'll just let them answer. So first we go to this chick that's clearly covered in tattoos and is trying to cover it up, but not too much, because she wants people to know she has tattoos.
One, I was very career focused for a long time, but now that I have built that, I've been learning how to kind of manage my time better. And I haven't had the opportunity to give that a chance, but I think managing my time has been a real focus in this healing year that I've been doing.
That doesn't explain why you're single.
But also,
No, I know. She's healing, Allison. She's healing.
From what? Doing a career? Well, maybe you shouldn't have done that then.
I don't know. I'm assuming some one night stand that didn't go the way she wanted.
She's really deep in the therapy speak, but okay, continue.
Yeah.
Weird hobbies. My house is very like Victorian type of style. I work at a thrift store. I have very odd furniture.
Your career? Okay, wait.
Yeah, that's her career. She worked in a thrift. She's been focused on her thrift store career.
You work at a thrift store and that's your career. Not you own the thrift store, you work at.
I don't know, but okay, let's keep going.
Okay.
So I will say have weird hobbies.
First things first.
So she thinks she's single because she has weird hobbies and because she's been working.
No.
Nothing about nothing that's sort of self-reflective, like, oh, these are some things I need to work on for myself. All right. Now let's get to
Oh boy, this is gonna be a treat, isn't it?
yeah. Let's get to Barbie. Bad Barbie, okay?
First, I think I'm single because I live in the Midwest. I'm Black. I'm opinionated. I'm a lot of things that like I think a lot of men right now don't want. But I don't also only date men. I think the reason I'm single is actively like
She's
making
bi, right? Or does she
myself
mean
out.
dogs?
She's opinionated, guys. He's opinionated. Now, of course, I don't know why she says I'm Black, like that's an obstacle. Like Black people date all the time. Pretty sure. I don't think it's against. Nobody's made it illegal, and there's plenty of Black men around. If that's what you mean, unless you're looking for white men and they don't want you, and maybe that's why you're upset. But that's like, I think that's just cope. It's an excuse for like the fact that she can't find a relationship, you know. And but saying I'm opinionated, that's scary. That means she is not pleasant to be around. That's what that's all I'm gonna say. That means she argues, she picks fights. That's what I'm guessing. Like when a woman says opinionated, that usually means something a lot more severe than it sounds like.
It probably
So-
isn't an opinion on the Roman Empire.
Yeah, right. All right, let's hear her go on.
This last year or so, after being in like such a terrible situationship, I was just like, I actually.
What a surprise!
Situationship means I was chasing after a man that a bunch of other women were also after, because I only go after the top 1% of men in my area, and I realized I was putting up with it for a while, and then for whatever I got, like, you know, I didn't get picked, and now I'm mad. So
Yeah, well, I mean, right there, that's why you're single.
mm-hmm.
And I think that indicates very strongly why you're single. You went after a man you could never get a commitment from. And he probably went after him because he gave you FOMO. And here's the really, really problematic bit of all this. If he had turned around and actually gave her a relationship, how long before she wanted to kick him out? How long before that urge to gurge, that urge to reject started to build in her? Because once you lock down a man, he's not dating 5 other women. So how do you know he's really worth anything, right? Yeah, he stops dating other women. He stops being able to make you feel he can leave on a dime. And you stop getting that excitement of potential withdrawal, you know, the withdrawal of his company. And he starts to look less and less attractive to you. And that's the problem with women like this. This is the real reason why they're single. If a man commits to them, he becomes less attractive to them. First of all, because he can't induce FOMO, because he can't withdraw his attention as easily anymore. He doesn't have other women orbiting him, so he doesn't seem to be as attractive as he was when he did. Right? When she hadn't locked him down. And because her attraction to him is in part the fact that there is uncertainty in their relationship, as soon as that uncertainty resolves, his attractiveness goes down. And then there's all of the narrative around how living with him means that he's getting some special essence that she can't account for, but she knows that the accounting is always in his favor, which engages that kind of petty jealousy or envy towards her own partner. And all of this is being aimed at their relationship. So how soon before she gives in, and then she has all her friends picking at all of his problems or the things that they're constructing, and she's got all the TikTok challenges, and maybe he's tired from work and he doesn't want to be cute, right? And then she's like, oh my God, he doesn't really love me. You see, all of that starts to circle the relationship. And this woman doesn't have a strong enough mind to reject it. So I'm guessing that situationship is about as much as she can expect from her life until she fixes that. She starts kicking out the influences that don't allow her to pair bond. She starts kicking out the
addiction to uncertainty that makes her think that this man is very attractive when all it is uncertainty. If he resolves that uncertainty, bam, 90% of his attractiveness to her is gone. And then suddenly he's showing up every day. But that's what patriarchy is. And him showing up is getting something from me that I'm not getting from him. And then bam, the 10% of his attractiveness goes. And then she's kicking him out the door for what? Because of all of the pressures in her own head that she hasn't resolved and nothing to do with him. So I'm saying if that situationship had even offered her a relationship, she'd still be single. All right.
All right, I got a super chow from Richard Bier for $5, and he says, "This sounds like the live-action remake of Lesbian Space Princess at the Cave of the Straight White Malians. However, it is missing the acid vat and a thespian." All right.
It's a rest.
Yeah.
The Straight White Malians and Lesbian Space Princess were the best part of the entire show. And the chauvinistic ship, the problematic ship. All of the male characters are the best part of that. Hell, even the drag queen was a good character compared to the female characters. All right,
let's play some more of this.
Care to seek out love. Whatever will come to me, and then I'll put it on the chopping block for whether or not it's for me or whether or not it is or isn't. But yeah, I think there's a lot of factors. Again, black.
Are you a Muppet?
Opinionated, loud, argumentative. I think I'm just like a lot of things that the dating market.
And I am your counterproof.
The dating market rejects argumentative, opinionated women. and maybe when that kind of woman comes back into fashion, then she'll be set. But she doesn't have to change. The world has to change. So
yeah, but the thing is that I'm opinionated and argumentative. Managed to have a relationship. It may be, very Peter natural, but I think it's more than that, lady. Something else.
She's probably just a bitch, Allison. She's probably a bitch, and she doesn't want to actually reckon with her own, let's say, flaws or her character flaws, because she doesn't. No one's ever told her she has character flaws to work on, and that she's just fine the way she is, and that's the most important thing, that you shouldn't let anyone try to control you, because that's what men do. So yeah, just be argumentative and opinionated, and I'm sure that a man will come along and put up with it, but he better not be weak.
But you see how that makes the feminist framework makes every relationship a struggle session, right? You can never be comfortable.
It is, yeah.
You can never be peaceful, and the man always has to be 1 foot out the door, or you won't be attracted to him. We have created a system where human pair bonding goes to die.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Next.
And I'm okay with that.
I think that I'm still single because I'm not settling. I know what I need from a person, and I know what I want from a person, and so I'm not going to get into any type of relationship. Just
you know what she wants?
Avoid or a need or whatever.
She wants a man who.
Her standards are just too high, guys. That woman right there deserves a 10. Obviously, she is not gonna settle.
Well, I mean, this is cope. They're just giving excuses for why they aren't. That doesn't act. There's no reflection on themselves.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, I don't know if we have time, but I think most of the men are I just need to do more.
Okay,
and the women are I just haven't found men that are doing enough.
I'll go for as long as it takes. Let's finish it off. I'm not that uncomfortable right now. I don't have a headache. Mia's finally stopped biting me. She was doing that occasionally. So
you guys got to step up to this woman's level. Look at that. That's a 10 right there. Don't you know? NovaFan21 gives $1 and says, "Feminists, it's only insecure men who don't want opinions from women. Non-feminist women," holds her hand up to speak. Feminist, she doesn't have any opinions, rather. She doesn't have any opinions. Okay, let's keep going.
So they have to meet my needs. And I think, you know, I've been divorced now for 2 years. I think a good chunk of that time was intentionally being single, of just really trying to like be myself. So now as I've like started to get myself out there, now that I've
why
learned
are
what I
you
need, what
single?
I want.
Perhaps we could drill down into the divorce. We could start there. You were single because you got divorced. How did that happen? What
Yeah,
went
well, it was
wrong?
probably him. He would turn out to be a narcissist and toxic and stuff like that.
Yeah, probably
So,
not if he married you, but okay.
yep.
I'm not saying her specifically,
What I
but
want.
you know, narcissists are not really known for their commitment. He probably was just
Mhm.
slightly crabby or something mild. Let me put it this way: when women say all my exes are narcissists, I'm like, well, either you're
Yeah,
choosing
no,
them
for sure, for sure.
preferentially,
You
or
got
something
what? You
else.
got dumped 109 times. It's probably their fault, right?
Yeah, common denominators don't exist here. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, there's no such thing. All right.
My life, what I want for my daughter's life as well too.
Oh, you have a
You
daughter?
know,
Oh my! Oh, jeez, and you're not settling. Why did you drag another helpless human being into your mess, lady? Okay,
Yeah.
let's keep
All right.
going.
I know more of what I want. So I think it's, for me, the hardest thing of the needs to me. So if y'all are listening to this and want a tip of what, you know, is important, I think it's emotional vulnerability and emotional availability is a big thing. I think it's really hard for me as a very emotionally intelligent person to connect with people. A lot of people aren't able to connect on that depth level intimately, like emotional intimacy. And so that is, I
Wow.
think, what's kind of has been
Okay,
lacking.
lady.
Yeah, so it's the why are you still single? It's everybody else's fault. It's men's fault.
Yeah, okay, but did you just hear
They're
what
not
she
stepping
said?
up.
What an incredible narcissist. People just don't have the depth of feeling that I have and the intelligence and you got divorced, lady. I would not be putting on those airs. A little bit of humble pie might be in order. Okay.
Yeah, right?
Hard for me, at least, to find that person, because I think that's just such a core need. But essentially, I'm not settling, and
Such a core need.
I'm just,
But
you
you're
know,
not
trying to wait
settling.
for the right person.
I don't think I know that I'm single because truly at heart I'm the problem. I took a lot of the defensive coping mechanisms from my last relationship and I start to throw them onto other people. So truly, like, you don't really want to be with me, honestly. And then when you think about it, like where I'm at right now at LSU, the dating market is like trash. Like it's kind of just like, excuse my French, but it's a little slutty. So it's just like,
Daphne at home at least recognizes that she is the problem. She's the only one of the women that have said that. But it's also other people. It's everybody's fault. Two wrongs equal a who cares.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody, in the same sense that you said you don't want to settle. I don't want to settle for somebody that's dating me and the girl down the hall. I don't want to settle for somebody that I see you at a party or I see you at the club and you were 16 different girls. Like, one, I know I'm the problem. So if you do that, I'm going to be toxic in return. So why would I put myself in that situation?
What situation is she putting herself in?
Unfortunately,
Just like dating
Dating a
men
man with
who are
16.
banging
You
multiple
realize
women.
there's a spectrum here. There are not like the only men that exist in her world are dating 16 other women. How did that happen? Do you not notice that there are other men in the world not dating 16 women? Like, where did they go? Like I
He
got
doesn't see
standards.
those men. Those men are
I
not
got standards.
people.
Right, I got standards. I'm not dating the men who have 16 other women, so that's why I'm single. There are other men in the
I'm
world.
sorry.
Like
It's Velma at home, not Daphne. It's Velma at home. That's who that is.
but I'm have I gone nuts here? There are other men besides ones dating 16 women. Like I'm single because I just don't want the men dating other women.
Yes, that's
Get
right.
the
I
men
want exclusive. I want exclusive access to the men that are basically like playing the field, not the men who are not playing
Yeah.
the field. Those men are obviously, I don't want them because other women don't want them. They must not be desirable for some reason.
And then she
Right.
never pauses and says, okay, if my condition for finding a man desirable is that he's dating 16 other women, because this is really revealing. I'm not dating because I don't want to date men dating 16 other women. There are other men out there, my dear, guaranteed. Right. And she's like, have you considered that if you can't even see the men who aren't dating 16 other women, that maybe if you ended up locking down the man with 16 other women and made him exclusive to you, you might cease to find him attractive. Because the thing that's attracting you to him is the fact he's been orbited by other women. God damn. Like you cannot have relationships with these women. These are women, they have found 4 women that it would be impossible for anyone to have a relationship with, because what they want is contradictory. It makes no sense. It's unself-aware. That one woman is a massive narcissist. The other woman is, I'm single because I got weird hobbies, and I'm healing from building a huge career as a thrift store worker, not a thrift store owner, just a worker. You know, like all of this is just a bunch of dysfunction, like massive dysfunction, to the point where these women are not capable of a pair bond. Like they don't have the basic skills necessary. And I know like I'm saying that. I don't even think that I've got the basic skills, although apparently I must have some, since my husband's been with me for 28 years. But, you know, like there is nothing you can do with this raw material, sirs. Nothing. All right, there's just nothing. There's nothing there.
I'm sorry. My air conditioner just came on, or heater or something. So if you hear any buzzing, I apologize for that. That's me.
Yeah, there's what I mean is that there's nothing there to start with. You know, there's no. You're trying to build a house. You know, maybe or build a brick wall, and these women are a pile of leaves. That's a really bad metaphor. I'm just saying you can't build a brick wall from this. You can't build a relationship from these women. And they don't have the skills. They don't have the self-awareness to be capable of being one half of a pair bond. I'm just still reeling from that one woman who's like, I just invested so much into my career. What are you? Well, I'm a clerk at a thrift store.
Well, she said she's a manager at a thrift store.
Oh, so. Manager at a thrift store. Okay.
She's a manager. That's a career. All right.
I can take enough accountability to say that I'm the problem and I'm going to ruin that for you.
I'd say I'm probably single, definitely out of choice. I mean, definitely, like you've been saying, the theme is kind of going along, not wanting to settle is definitely part of it. Also, I work a lot. I work overtime almost every week. I mean, last summer, I think I averaged probably a minimum of 70 hours a week, plus going to the gym. I'm there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, which is where I spend most of my time, not at home or work, is at the gym. And I'll be honest, definitely not approachable at the gym because I look angry when I'm working out. I don't know what it is. It's just how it is. So I'd say it's a lot of time is a big.
So he's basically blaming himself. He's like, well, look, I'm not putting myself out there, so it's on me. I'm working hard. I'm doing this or that.
Well,
it's not society's fault. It's not men's fault. It's not women's fault or anything like that. So
his attitude has improved since the guy intervened to protect his status, which is interesting. He's become less unpleasant. But he's saying it's his fault, but also he's not approaching either. You notice that?
Yeah, he's not approaching. Yeah.
Well, you're not going to get anywhere. But on the other hand, consider that what they've paired with these men are women who are basically incapable of a pair bond. Like this dude might be capable of a pair bond. Maybe I was going a little bit too hard into, possible sociopath. Maybe he's just really insecure. Who knows?
Well, no, he's working a lot and he's going to the gym constantly. So he's obviously trying to
attract women.
Status max. He's trying to do some status maxing. I hope it works out for you, bro. But I think the problem with Gen Z women is not just that they're not approaching you. I mean, if you talk to these women, you are on this panel, that's what you're up against. Like,
Well,
yeah, you're going to have some crazy standards, and then it's going to be really tough anyways. But anyway,
well, I mean,
he doesn't have a high enough emotional intelligence to understand that.
Who? Okay. All right. If I were to rank these women on this panel in terms of emotional intelligence, I think most of them, okay, maybe the Velma at home might be like a 1, like from a 1 to 10, maybe a 2. Right?
I wouldn't mess with any of them. They're all train wrecks.
Yes,
But
I'm not.
If you put a gun to my head and I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Velma at home because she's honest about her flaws, and the others, like single mom, hell no.
Oh God. But
Like,
she's also a
no.
narcissist. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about emotional intelligence, which is the bedrock for a
Oh.
relationship. But emotional
Sure.
intelligence includes the ability to self-assess, and recognize when you're doing something wrong. I would say Velma's on the low end, probably like on a scale from 1 to 10, 2, 3. The narcissistic single mother, -50. The other woman, what was I can't even remember what she
There was
was
the
now.
black
Oh,
chick
the
with the
black
blonde
chick.
wig, and then there was the chick, the
She
thrift store
leaves. Okay.
manager.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is like the least emotionally intelligent, 10 is the top. I think that she just leaves a smoking crater. Like she's just I don't think she is aware that other people exist at all. Right? And the chick who's like, "Oh, I'm manager of a thrift store, my fantastic career." Yeah, 0. Like all of these ladies have 0 emotional intelligence, which you have to have some to have a relationship, or at the very least, you have to care about the person you're in a relationship with, which is a quotient of emotional intelligence. So, where can anybody go with this? And then the Velma at home, I think, is just a slut. Good luck. I think she's just a slut. And you could try to wife that up, but
Yeah.
who knows where that's gonna go. Okay, let's see what
All right.
this dude, like, if I'm wrong about him actually being really, really hierarchical, competing with other men and really focusing on that, maybe I'm wrong about it. Maybe, like I said, he's just really insecure. At least he's
I think he's trying to
trying.
compete, and I think it's like for him, he's probably like trying to like get the Chad mindset going, which is why he was kind of taking digs at what he perceived as weak men. But when you know that he's like working 70-hour weeks and going to the gym, like basically killing himself to like become high status, then it
To
makes
be
sense that
worthy.
he's like doing this, right?
Like, you see women, they won't even coherently explain what they want from men, because then they have to admit that they want it. So there's no actual standard. So they're not even held to the standard of expressing a coherent standard for men, right? So they're not even like, this guy's working 70 hours a week, going to the gym for a woman. What the hell are these women doing for a man? Nothing. Like I said, they're not even coherently explaining what they want in a man. You notice that? You'd think that would be the
No,
bare
I know. That's what I said. I said that when he said, "Why are you single?" None of them said, "Here are some things about me that I need to change." All of them said, "Well, it's
Except,
because
well,
of
Velma.
these things outside of my control. I'm victims of my circumstance. It's men's fault. It's my ex's fault. Whatever, right?
Velma did, sort of.
It's my hobby's fault." It's not
Velma
me,
did.
like it's not me. Like I'm trying to be a decent person because I think that like ultimately that would be the easiest way to get a man is to just not be garbage. Like just like be a good person. And I think you'll find your conditions will change dramatically. And it's probably good to learn how to determine, not what a man of like a certain status is or the one who gives you the tingles are, but like the men who are, stable and reliable and honorable. But you have to understand what those things are. Like you'd have to have them in yourself. You'd have to have a sense of what honor is and what humility is and what stability is and what kindness is and what sacrifice is. Like those are the things you would need. And those women don't know
have
what
it.
any of that is. Like they don't. And yeah, I do pity that single mom's kid because that kid's probably gonna have some baggage. I mean, I'm pretty sure. So,
but the other thing is that these women, they can't even articulate what they want from men. This is they're like, well, I'm the table. You're not even the table, because the table is at least something concrete, right? And you can know what it is, but you don't even offer a table. You offer absolutely nothing. The man has to bring the table too, right? Except for Velma, but the rest of them, they don't know what they want. Like and they will not admit to what they want, because the sisterhood says that wanting anything from men makes you a bad woman who should be ejected from the sisterhood, makes you a pick-me. So they can't even articulate what they want. And that's like, how are you supposed to have a relationship if you can't even articulate what you want? I mean, we're not even talking about like maybe having some understanding of your partner, reciprocation, that kind of thing. How do you do anything if you don't know what you want and if you can't admit it to yourself? So, and this guy's like, well, I'm trying really hard. So the very things that he's doing to get a partner are the things that are stopping him from getting one. And why is that? Because in this society, he can't just go up to a woman he finds attractive and say, hey, because she is preloaded with this script that she has to reject him. Right? She's preloaded with it, that her entire status with the sisterhood requires rejecting men. And the only men she won't reject are the men who can instantly induce some kind of FOMO in her. Right? So that's why he's single. He's single because there's nothing to receive. There's no receiver to receive his signal.
right.
Okay.
All right. I want to go get dinner at some point, so maybe we'll
Let's
just
finish up,
quickly
yeah.
go through the rest of these.
And then just, I don't really want to settle for somebody who doesn't, match the just couple of things that I need for a good relationship.
I'm single because I met a girl in 2019 and we've been on and off since, but like, I don't know, like if anyone has ever been like the one or something like that, people always saying they felt that shit, like, to me it's her, and like me and her always end up coming back together. Like if you do any spirituality stuff like twin flame shit that, like that's what I feel she is. So it kind of comes down to like I've met girls, right, that I feel like it's good to me. They have values and shit, but it's
So
like
basically he's orbiting.
it's just
He's pining for a woman. He's carrying water for someone. Yeah.
I don't know
So
why
again,
she
he's
isn't.
not blaming her either. I mean, I don't know if he's blaming himself.
I'm blaming her. Why isn't she locking that shit down? Like what? Why do these women think they have infinite time? Of course. What am I talking about? But the other thing is it's an off and on again relationship. So it probably is exactly the thing that I'm talking about. When she's in the relationship, she can't settle into the relationship because of all of the bullshit she's been told that makes her think.
Well,
that
she's probably keeping him around for when she's exhausted all of her options, and then she'll be like, okay. And he'll
but
probably just be like, yay.
But it sounds like they're actually like are in relation that they're cycling in and out of an actual relationship. Right? So that yeah. Okay, so this guy's just cooked. He's not single, he's just cooked.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily like think that's a bad thing per se, but like I don't know, I guess yeah. So I'm single because like I just choose to like wait for her essentially. So
Oh yeah, so you're fucking in love with a woman. Like this is the funny thing. None of these women are like that. Notice that? I'm single because men aren't good enough, and whatever the hell the thrift shop woman thinks. And he's like, I'm single because he's waiting for a woman. So he's like deep in like the vasopressin pair bonding stage. And the stupid bitch is just like, I don't know. What do you think you think you're gonna get better than this dude bonded to you? You're not. You're just gonna get worse. It's only going to get worse from him. Guaranteed for whoever that is orbiting him.
Yep.
Ugh.
I guess
Women
I
are
grew up
stupid.
Catholic, something that I was in the church, all these other things. I didn't have a real relationship with God, didn't really read the Bible or understand a lot of it. And then after college, really these last like 4 years or so, I've grown a lot in my faith, and I've learned a lot more about my values and
Wait,
what
did
I
we skip?
can allow, what I can't allow in a relationship, what's a non-negotiable and what isn't negotiable. And some of the things that I was passive about or was like, okay, I don't love that, but you know, it is what it is. I've changed that perspective now. And so I'm a lot more selective, a lot more intentional about what it is that I'm looking for. You know, I've had past relationships where there's been, I guess, what I would consider a red flag now that I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think they skipped that other dude.
No, they did.
What it is, I'll deal with it.
Well, let's
And now it's
deal
like,
with
well,
it.
no, I know I don't want that. So that would be a huge reason. And then just
But maybe he's like, I'm married.
person has the
I
same
don't know why
morals
I'm
and
here.
values and all those other things.
Good, sensible.
The reason I asked you guys to do that is because 100% at some point during the time of this video being on YouTube.
Oh, he's just telling them that there's people that watch the video. So basically, this guy's like, I have like these values, and women aren't measuring up to that. Well, good luck with that, Brody. But
yeah.
yeah, I guess the guy in the black didn't. He did say some neat stuff about the 80-20. He did mention the 80-20 rule. The guy in the black when we were talking about dating apps. So, but I didn't want to. I mean, this has gone for like 2.5 hours, and I want to eat. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, the most red pill guy there is the guy in black. He knows about the 80-20 rule. He knows about simps. He understands that he is in a system. He may not know it super well, but he's definitely like, surveilling the terrain a little bit better equipped than the other guys, especially the guy that's waiting for his on again, off again girl to like.
Yeah, but you can't blame him. Like this is.
No,
this
I
is
know.
the-
I'm
this
not
is
mad
the
at them. I
stupidity.
mean, I understand. I know guys that are in situations like that where they're like, no, it's gonna work out eventually. It's like, oh man. No,
Oh,
I get
yeah, I
it.
know.
But like, this is what they like. These women are. This is what they're dealing with.
The problem is that these women don't value what men have to offer at all. And I'm not even talking about masculinity and dominance in bed and whatever the slutty Velman wants. But just these dudes, I don't know. I'm still a little bit suspicious of the dark gray flannel guy. They're all look like they are pair bonders. Like they present that way. And women don't value that. They don't know to value that because they think that a man wanting to be in a relationship with them is somehow secretly villainous. Like he's just an oppressor, which creates all kinds of psychological pressures. The truth is that these men are single because apparently their female counterparts who are on the right side are hot messes who are incapable of having relationships. They have no emotional EQ. They don't know what's important. They have strange notions. They constantly project onto men. They blame men. They, in one case, is just an outright narcissist. The single mother's a narcissist. I think the other one's a narcissist. They're inconsistent to the point where they don't even know what they want. They don't want to even admit and acknowledge that they want something. How do you have a relationship when you won't admit and acknowledge that you want the other party and what they have to offer? These women are just incapable of a partnership. They are massive, steaming hot messes. And the reason why the men are single is because the women are massive, steaming hot messes. That's the answer. And they don't have any imperative to do better, be aware of themselves, be aware of other people. Right? No imperative to step up in any capacity. And then talk about, oh, well, I'm the table. You're not even the table. You're nothing. You're just a pile of miserable self-contradictions and expectations and lack of clarity and poor values. And an obsessive desire to do what the sisterhood tells you to do. Like these women are massively damaged, and they're damaged by feminism. I'm going to be honest. They're damaged by what feminism tells women constantly about men. And these men are just being men. I wish conservatives would watch this shit. Look at these men. right? Again, gray plaid dude, not so sure about, but the rest, including the moderator who's probably already married or in a relationship, all of these men are marriageable. Do you see what I'm saying, Brian?
Yeah.
Every single one of them is expecting to bring something to the relationship, to understand their partner, to pair bond. They're expecting to step up. Every single one of them frames it in terms of what they need to do. Yes, white plaid dude has values. Yes, the guy in the black has some ideas of what is going wrong, and he's probably right. But they are all worthy partners for a woman. The problem is, look at the woman that they are potentially paired with. They're worthless. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm not even talking about, I'm not even referencing body count. I'm talking about brain fold count. These are a lot of smooth brains there, doing very little except keeping their skulls up. Okay.
Okay.
I'm done.
Well, then that's it. So we can wrap it up.
Do they realize that this is what they presented? Like a bunch of very put together men who are also physically on an order of magnitude more attractive than the women. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
They're all tall, they're all fit, they're all good looking, they're all calm. Well, except for Gray Plaid, man. He's a little bit neurotic, but whatever. Maybe he's just insecure, right? They all exude that kind of energy that you could be calm with them, like they could provide stability. And the women, it's like, where did you scrape them from?
Mm-hmm.
Like Skankville? Good Lord. And I wonder if anybody comments on that. And none of these women want to bring anything. None of these women want to recognize, truly recognize. Velma sort of recognizes, doesn't seem to want to do anything about it. Oh, whatever. Okay. Fucking disasters.
All right.
Okay. All right. So if you want to make commentary, you want to tell me what's what, feedthebadger.com/justthetip. That's the best way to send us a message. And any funds you want to send us to help us keep going is the best way for us to receive it. So that's feedthebadger.com/justthetip, badgernation.online if you want to join our community. And Brian, just say whatever final words you have.
About this, or just like to end it off? Well, I mean, I think I've said everything I needed to say about this. Yeah, I mean, Gen Z dating is cooked. I don't know. I mean, look, there might be a way out of it, but it's the way that we've been doing things is not working. So I hope these guys find someone that isn't crazy. I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, yeah.
The men are hoping to find someone not crazy and not like these women. So,
yes.
But anyway.
I would wish that conservatives would see this and realize it's not men's fault or problem.
Yeah.
Like there is a categorical difference in value between the left side of this, the men's side, and the women's side.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, with that said, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we talked about in the show today, and share the video because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of Maintaining Frame, and we will talk to you all in the next one.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.